It started like any ordinary evening. We had just finished shopping at the supermarket, our bags loaded with bread, fruit, and a few things for the week. I was driving. My wife sat in the passenger seat, and our son was strapped into the back. The road home was familiar, quiet, lined with tall trees that looked darker than usual in the fading light. But the moment I pulled out of the parking lot, I felt something was off. At first, it was just a strange pressure in my chest, as though someone were watching us. The air in the car seemed heavier, colder. I even checked the AC, but it wasn't on. My wife rubbed her arms. "Why is it so cold?" she asked. I tried to laugh it off, but I kept glancing at the rearview mirror. My son was humming to himself, kicking his little legs, perfectly fine. Yet every time I looked, I could swear the shadows in the back seat shifted. It almost seemed like there was another figure sitting beside him. I told myself it was just my imagination. I focused on the road. The further we drove, the emptier it became. The streetlights grew fewer, flickering in and out. The only sound was the low hum of the tires on the asphalt. Then, in the distance, I saw her, a woman, standing on the roadside. Her clothes were pale, almost glowing in the headlights. She didn't move. Her head was tilted down, her long hair covering most of her face. I slowed instinctively. Out here, anyone standing alone might need help. But as the car crept closer, my wife grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. "Don't stop," she whispered. "Don't you dare stop." Confused, I glanced at her. Her face had gone pale. "You didn't see her face," she said. I looked again, but there was no face, just smooth, pale skin, stretched tight, like clay that had never been carved. I slammed the gas and drove past her. My heart pounded in my ears. My son, who hadn't seen anything, asked, "Daddy, why are you driving so fast?" We didn't answer. For a few minutes, the road was empty again, but that uneasy pressure inside the car grew heavier, as though the woman wasn't behind us on the road anymore, as though she had come with us. Then my son spoke again. "Daddy," he said softly, "who's the lady sitting next to me?" My blood ran cold. I jerked the wheel, nearly swerving off the road. My wife whipped her head around and gasped. My son's small body shook as he pressed himself against the car door. "She's looking at me," he cried. I forced myself to look in the rearview mirror. For a split second, I saw her, a figure, pale and thin, sitting right beside my son, her smooth face inches from his. Then the lights from a passing car flashed, and she was gone. But the air grew colder still, our breath visible in front of us. The smell of groceries had been replaced by the stench of damp soil, like fresh earth from a grave. "Hold him," I shouted to my wife. She reached back, but froze mid-motion. Her eyes widened. "Something's touching me," she whispered. Her hand trembled, as if an invisible grip held her wrist. I slammed on the brakes, tires screeching as the car came to a stop in the middle of the deserted road. Groceries spilled to the floor. My son was sobbing. I spun around, ready to face whatever was there. The back seat was empty, but then, on the window next to my son, came a slow, deliberate sound. Tap, tap, tap. A pale hand pressed against a glass. Long, thin fingers spread wide, nails scraping faintly as they dragged downward. I hit the gas, and the car roared forward. The tapping turned into a horrible screeching sound, as though nails were clawing the entire length of the car. My wife screamed. My son buried his face in her arm. I didn't dare look in the mirror. Finally, our house came into view. I skidded into the driveway, jumped out, and yanked open the back door. Nothing. My son was shaking but unharmed. I checked the seats, the trunk, even beneath the car. No sign of her. Relieved, I reached for the grocery bags. That's when I saw it. Inside one of the cardboard boxes, among the apples and bread, was a footprint. Small, bare, damp with mud. It was pointing the wrong way, deeper into the car, not out of it. I froze. Then, before I could react, my wife screamed from inside the house. I ran in. She was standing in the hallway, clutching our son. He was staring at something at the top of the stairs. Slowly, I turned my head. There she was, the faceless woman, standing on the landing, her head tilted down just as before. Her long hair hung like a curtain, her pale body still dripping water onto the floorboards. And then, in a voice that didn't sound like it came from her, but from everywhere in the house at once, she whispered, "You brought me home." The lights flickered. The air grew freezing. My son's scream cut through the silence. And that's when the front door slammed shut, locking us in. If you were in my place, what would you do next? Fight, pray, or run? Comment your answer.